What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into a live edition of Falcons Today. Matthew Peterson here, getting you guys ready for Week 4 against the Aints. Hopefully, everyone watching from Georgia and I guess the Panhandle is staying dry. I know the rain is just completely coming down, cats and dogs, with the hurricane coming through in a few hours. So, hoping for the best. Hopefully, everyone is staying dry and staying safe. But let me know who you got in what's going to be a fun matchup coming up in just a few little days here. Falcons or Saints, let me know down below in the comment section. You got Atlanta or you got New Orleans. We've got Ty Man the Buckeye, Matthew PD fan, Mr. Fat Boy, appreciate you. Jason's going with Atlanta. Simon's going with Atlanta. Lav S. Jose Santana in the chat, taking ATL. Archangel ATL Ho. Neil ATL. I love it. Let me know right now who you got, Falcons or Saints. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but is anyone else kind of wondering, is this game in jeopardy at all because of the hurricane? I don't think the actual hurricane itself could disrupt the game, but if it's tough for people to get to the stadium and there's flooding in the area, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's going to be a potential issue. I don't think as far inland as Atlanta is, it's going to be that big of a deal, but I'm no meteorologist, but I'm a little surprised. I'm the only one that I've seen has considered that this hurricane could be an issue for a Sunday game. So hopefully not, indeed, Archangel. I don't want to see this game get moved. You know what I mean? I don't want to see this game get played in like Jacksonville or something. I don't even know if the Jags are home this Sunday, but yeah, hopefully this game goes smoothly at the Benz and we get a nice Atlanta win. So let me know, Falcons or Saints, who you got. Also, let me know where you're tuning in from. We have over 50 people tuned in within the first 3 to 4 minutes of our live show. So really appreciate those of you that come on time promptly. That's the kind of person I am. Got to be on time. So I recognize you guys for being on time as well. Vaughn, Jacksonville would be worse. Yeah, Jacksonville. Oh, you're saying weather-wise? I thought Jacksonville was kind of far out of the path of Helena, right? I'm very bad at hurricane names. Kenneth, Atlanta. Let's see. Jordan is in Elizabethton, Tennessee, up in East Tennessee. I had a summer job once, as I kind of make it about me for a moment, of delivering lost luggage from the Knoxville airport. And I went all over East Tennessee. So I've learned a lot of the very small towns like where Jordan is. Let's see. Simon's in Tallahassee. Simon, I hope you're okay because I saw Waffle House is closed. And if Waffle House is closed, we are fucked. So hopefully, Simon, you are in a good spot right now. Austin, as always, tuning in from Lexington. Nicholas, not sure where that is. Good to hear that, Simon, though. We've got Spartanburg, South Carolina here. We've got a super chat coming in. We'll get on screen in just a moment from Mr. Bentley. Time Man the Buckeye is in Ohio. Let's see. Jackson is in Montana. Lothar, Montana. I have not heard of that. I have heard of a couple of small towns. I had a work thing in Missoula once and had a blast, and I really, really liked my time, although short, in Montana. But I can't say I'm familiar with Lothar, Montana. Let's see. Mr. is in Fort Cav, Texas. First Cav Soldier is for ATL. I love it. Marvin is in Atlanta, Georgia. 78 people tuned in. We have 17 likes, though. Not a very good ratio. So make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you are just tuning in right now. Jason is in Maine. We got Wilbur in Alabama. Okay. Mark's in Pensacola. And San Diego's in the house. Jackson, where am I? I'm in Dallas, Texas. I work for Chat Sports. Chat Sports is headquartered in Dallas, Texas. So that is home for me. But really appreciate all of you guys from tuning in all over the country, as Envious is in South Carolina. We have a super chat rolling in from Bentley Lancaster. Rise up. We need to take advantage of their injuries. I agree, Bentley. Like, the dangerous game that you play with injuries is you always feel like it's such a foregone conclusion if the other team is severely banged up that you're just going to run away with it. The issue I think we sometimes run into as fans is we forget that the margin between a starter and a backup is not very big. Like, it's unsettling to know the starters not playing. But in the NFL, they're all pros, and the backups I would not say are just as good as the starters, but they're not as far behind as we make them out to be. So I don't want anyone falling trap to, oh, the Saints are banged up. We got this one in the bag. No, the starters are not they're not playing shorthanded, right? It's not like this is a power play for Atlanta where, oh, the Saints don't have Kamara, which by the way is not the case. He was limited in practice today. Oh, then they're screwed. No, let's not act like the next guy's just chopped liver. Now, of course, they'd rather have Kamara, but I think sometimes people can get a little bit carried away with, oh, the other team's really banged up. Hammer the other side. Slow down just a little bit. But you're right, Bentley. They got to take advantage of at least what's going to be a banged-up crew and a shorthanded crew for the New Orleans Saints. We have some injury news to get to on today's live show for both the Falcons and the Saints. Bijan Robinson popped up on the injury report. He was limited with a shoulder injury, so just when you see Kamara go down, and we talked about that yesterday, the football gods go, slow down, Falcons today. We're going to level the playing field here, and now your starting running back is limited in practice. So we have a mailbag at the end of the show, but before we do get to that stuff, we had Thursday Night Football. I meant to ask this last week, and I forgot to. And last week we had, what was the matchup? Was last week, it was Jets-Patriots. And I think we were all over Jets, were we not? I think you were on Jets, I was on Jets. I'm in on the Cowboys tonight. But man, the Giants kind of feel like a hungry team. And the Cowboys feel like a team that's going in the wrong direction. Now, Dak Prescott has dominated the Giants. The last time the Giants beat Dak Prescott, if they've ever beaten Dak Prescott, I believe Obama was in office. It's been a long time. So, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, but if I wasn't a coward and a big pussy, I'd go with the Giants. Let's see. Simon, I think Giants, Cowboys choke they do, but not against the Giants. The Cowboys do have a good history of playing well in the division. They have beaten up on the Giants. They have kind of exchanged blows with the Eagles, and they tend to body the Commanders. So the other three opponents, they take care of two, and they split the other one. So the the Cowboys have fared well at home and in the division, which if I was ever a coach, one of the first things I would say in my press conference is we're going to play well in the division. We're going to give the home crowd a good product to watch, and we're going to win the division, and we're going to see where it takes us. Like, that to me is the good foundation of a building block. We're going to beat our opponent's rivals. We're going to beat our rivals. We're going to beat them at our place, and we're going to win this division. All right, we have some new software kind of getting deployed on today's live show. So if there are some bumps along the way, just bear with us here. Reed is deploying a brand new software because if you've noticed, we've kind of had some technical issues over the last few weeks, which have caused things to get delayed a little bit. So we are trying a new workaround, and we're going to unveil that with Dead Water Super Chat in just a moment. Do you know how to find the background? Double click into it and then go to Studio Assets. Deadwater, in retrospect, are you feeling like the referees helped Kansas City steal one last week in Atlanta? I mean, I think they did. They blew the Kyle Pitts call. Let's acknowledge that. Everyone agrees. There we go. Bingo. The referees definitely, and this is how I think Super Chats are going to look kind of now for the most part. We're in a guinea pig phase here, so give some feedback. But in retrospect, keep looking for a different one, I think. In retrospect, are you feeling like the referees helped Kansas City steal one last week in Atlanta? So they definitely kicked the no call with Kyle Pitts. I do think they realized that, and they somewhat, I wouldn't say made up for it, but they at least tried to balance things out a little bit with a couple of penalties on the Chiefs defense the next time Atlanta got the football. But I would rather have had first and goal at the 1 than a couple of PIs and holding calls against Trent McDuffie and some other Chiefs DBs to just help the Falcons move down the field. So Oh, look at us. We are cooking with gas now. Bingo. Are you feel so Deadwater? I would say the Chiefs definitely got the better end of the calls. You guys know how in baseball there is somewhat of a new tracking method of like if an umpire is pitcher friendly or hitter friendly. I don't think new is the right word, but maybe more broadcasted. I would love to see that for officials, right? Are they more offensive friendly, defensive friendly? And that probably exists a little bit, but I would love for it to be more public. And also, which team do they somewhat have a little bit of, not a bias, but an unconscious bias towards by giving them some more favorable calls? That would be really cool information to see. The face mask on Ray Ray, I thought we kind of agreed that it looked like a face mask, but he kind of got more of like the interior of his collar than the actual face mask. So that's not one I'm going to have a hissy fit over. Although I also kind of remember that, and I meant to go back and like look for this when I rewatched the game. Some of the spotting was bad, I felt like. Like to me, there were obvious examples of like, all right, that's 3rd and 4 for the Chiefs. Now it's 3rd and 2. Like they just gave him an extra yard. Like there were a lot of moments where I'm like, maybe I just didn't notice it well the first moment, but the ball seemed to be moving a lot more in Kansas City's favor. But that's the Chiefs for you. We have a super chat coming in from Envious. Nicholas asking, hey, Matthew, do you think Carolina is going to beat the Bengals on Sunday? Nicholas, use hashtag Falcons, and then our software can pull that question and put it on screen for everyone watching to see. So, Envious, appreciate your super chat. I think Patrick pays the refs before every game. I don't think he does that. I don't think he actually starts paying off the referees, but I definitely think he leads the league in this somewhat unquantifiable stat of a lot of calls go his way, right? I mean, sometimes they're fair, but other times they seem a little bit more 50-50, and the coin always seems to land on whatever he called. That's just, unfortunately, the nature of when a team is so good. I feel like in person, the referees just have this tendency to go, well, if the Chiefs didn't catch it, something must have gone wrong because they're so good. They always catch that. So we just feel like we have to throw a flag because that just feels like the only. Do you remember that one scene in Semi-Pro where they pull off the alley-oop for the first time and the referee like blows his whistle and he's never seen it before and he calls it travel? And Monix is like, no, it's not travel. He did not establish a pivot foot. It's like, Jackie, people just can't go flying in the air. I feel like the referees are like, Jackie, Chiefs receivers just don't drop the ball. There must have been contact. So that's that. Okay, should we get into I know you don't like talking about fantasy football, but do I pick up Zeke? I don't dislike talking about fantasy. What I don't like is when you read articles that are like, start this guy, sit that guy. And it's like, well, you don't even know who's on my team. So I'm reading an article of everyone else's roster. But do you pick up Zeke? I mean, I don't know what the rest of your running back room looks like, but if you're looking for someone to at least get touches, I don't think it's a bad option to have on your bench. I don't think he's going to give you anything more than 10 points a game. Like if he scores a touchdown, that's 6, but he's probably not going to get more than 40 to 45 yards. Maybe he'll get 80 yards, but he probably won't get a touchdown. I don't think there's going to be a lot of 90-plus yard games and a score for Zeke. So, latest news and rumors, how to beat the Saints, and then plus a mailbag, so hashtag Falcons or Super Chat. We got about 100 people watching right now, 41 likes. Can we get ourselves to 50 likes to get this plane off the ground? We have a fun show laid out for you guys. I think you're going to enjoy it, but please show some love by hitting that thumbs up button. Vincent in the chat. We're going to go through the Ojulari trade. Don't worry, or the trade rumor, I should say. Nothing's done yet. Let's see. Offbeat Pally, what's up, man? Appreciate you watching. Marvin getting a Go Falcons in the chat. We've got Deadwater asking a question. We needed an inch. Why do we run horizontal? Hadn't worked all game. That is, I hope, a learning lesson for Zach Robinson. 4th and inches, and you run a stretch play. I think if we actually got to ask him and get a candid response, it would probably be, listen, guys, it's 4th and inches, and I've got my backup center in. If we run it up the middle and he gets blown off the football by Chris Jones, you guys are all going to crucify me for running to my backup center. That is a slight defense that you don't have Drew Dahlman in. You've got Ryan Nuzil in there or Nozel in there. That may not be the strength of the offensive line you want to run into, right? I can understand how you might look at that and go, Ryan Nuzil, Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron. Which one do I pick? You know what I mean? I see what you're saying, believe me, but to me, that seems like a somewhat understandable reason to give. Okay, are we ready to jump into today's episode? Okay, I'm ready when Lav also Cousins did. I don't know if it's changed the play at the line of scrimmage. I did see this, or just call the play at the line of scrimmage. A lot of times, teams will give their quarterback, if they trust their quarterback, and actually, I see what you were asking earlier. You can't take him out. I didn't realize that. So, a lot of times, teams will give their quarterback 2 plays. And when they get to the line of scrimmage, like in the huddle, here's play A, here's play B. Most of the time, it is dependent on if they can figure out if the defense is in man or zone. Now, at 4th and inches, if you're running the football, I don't think man or zone should really factor too heavily into what kind of run you want to do. If it's man or zone, that can make the difference between passing or running. But if you're going to run the football, which the defense knows on 4th and inches, 9 times out of 10, unless you're the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, you're probably going to run the football. So I'm not sure what the other play call could have been if there was one, or if Kirk just had complete autonomy to make the entire decision at the line of scrimmage. Bentley with a $10 super chat. Bentley, we'll hit this super chat after we talk about the latest news and rumors. We're 49 likes right now, 1 like away from 50, and then we will start today's show. Bobby, anybody notice that we don't play our rookies? Trivia. Can you guys guess the only rookie that has played and how many snaps on offense or defense they have played through 3 weeks? Bobby raises a point that we're actually going to get to on today's episode. Who is the only rookie that has played on offense or defense, and how many snaps have they played? I'm going to fact check myself because I just want to make sure. But I'm about 99. Yeah. I am correct. Okay. Lav says Casey Washington 3 snaps. Casey Washington, I did not realize, was active for week 3 against the Chiefs. He did play 2 special team snaps, but nothing on offense. Braylon Trice, Simon, are you sitting down? Fortunately, is out for the year with a torn ACL. That goes back to August, so it's not Braylon Trice. Cool guy, what's going on, dude? Support and Dat1 Falcons fan. It is JT Bertrand. He has played 1 snap. They have a lot of veterans at positions where they drafted players. But, yeah, to see your 2nd-round draft pick, Rook Ororo, be inactive, healthy scratch, is Taquan Graham and Contavia Street just that good that he can't even put on his pads? I don't know if it's just, hey, these are rookies. We're going to kind of approach them with the red shirt mentality, and everything's going to be fine. A lot of rookies get off to slow starts. They're rookies. But there is some level of concern. I think that's fair to say. Like, there's rookies who don't play well, and then there's rookies who can't even dress on Sunday because God knows what goes on at practice Wednesday through Friday. Okay. Are we ready to rock and roll? What was the issue? Okay. That's fine. All right, I was just curious. Okay, are we ready to rumble? We have 57 likes, 126 people tuned in right now. Hopefully everyone watching from the path of the hurricane is staying dry, and we're going to deliver the latest news and rumors on the Dirty Birds, starting right now. What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into Falcons Today. I want to open up today's show by talking about a trade idea that I came across involving maybe a fan favorite, a former Georgia Bulldog, Azeez Ojulari, who was listed as a potential trade candidate going into NFL Week 4 by Bleacher Report. And the folks at Bleacher Report listed the Falcons as a potential suitor. So, let's discuss the possibility of Atlanta pursuing Ojulari, since we have already seen that Terry Fontenot is willing to wheel and deal. He made a trade for Matthew Judon before the start of the season, and if he is not liking what the Falcons pass rush has done so far, maybe he won't stop there. My motto, never say no to edge rushers if you're the Atlanta Falcons. I don't care who he is, how good he is, how bad he is. We're going to discuss every single possible target for the Falcons at this position group because the Falcons are cursed when it comes to pass rushers. So leave no stone unturned. So let's dial back and talk about Ojulari, who I don't think the numbers have done him justice through the first couple of games of the season. I think he's actually put together some really nice plays. 2.5 sacks a year ago, 5.5 in 2022. Has he lived up to second round potential? Probably not, but I still think he is worth looking into. Plus, when you have 3 sacks through 3 weeks, you really can't be too picky, right? And when you rank 31st in just pressures and you're hanging out with the Panthers, you should really be doing some soul searching and reflecting. And the Falcons pass rush has just been that bad. So Azeez Ojulari, in my eyes, is well worth some time to discuss. In reality, though, I do think we should probably give this defense a little bit more time to prove themselves. Like by week 4, I'm not pounding the table Dwight Schrute at that press con or at the paper salesman conference to say we need Ojulari yesterday. I'm willing to kind of give Judon, Jarrett, Onyemata, some of those leaders up front, a little bit more time to create pressure, create havoc. DC, Jimmy Lake to dial up the right plays, push the right buttons. But we are on a path to, the Falcons should be trading for an edge rusher. What's new? Water is wet, and Atlanta needs help getting after the quarterback. So the pinned comment on today's episode, before we get any further and give you kind of more of my insight on this, should the Falcons add an edge rusher? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Scroll on down. YouTube likes to put ad breaks around here. If she does, just let the ad roll and give me your response in the pinned comment. Now, one thing that I think is worth looking into is the lack of production from a couple of day 2 draft picks as of late, Arnold Ebiketie and Zach Harrison. How many of you, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, laughed at me when I said, I don't think this is a good enough unit and they need to go add more guys? And you guys all told me, no. You're being too harsh on Harrison. You're being too harsh on Ebiketie. They'll be just fine. They don't need Bud Dupree. They don't need Calais Campbell. Well, here we are 3 weeks into the season, and Harrison can hardly get on the field. He's played 39 snaps through 3 games. We're talking about averaging about 12 to 13 snaps a game. Ebiketie, a little bit better. But still, Lorenzo Carter stole his job. We all thought he would be a front runner to start opposite of Judon. Instead, it's been Lorenzo Carter, who really hasn't been all that good. So the fact that Ebiketie can't even dethrone a guy who has created 0 pressure so far, 0 sacks through 3 games, we have some problems here. So the Falcons, and this is why I'm definitely open to adding Ojulari, but just talking about their defense in general, I've been extremely reliant on some of their veteran players. Just look at the snaps so far. Grady Jarrett, Onyemata. Those are your top 2 leading defensive tackles, as they should be. But look a little bit closer beyond that. Lorenzo Carter, James Smith-Williams, Eddie Goldman, Arnold Ebiketie. Are you guys noticing anything? How about this? Are you noticing who's not on this list? I don't see Rook Ororo. I don't see Brandon Dorless. I don't see a single rookie other than JT Bertrand, who is the entire representation of the Atlanta Falcons rookie draft class with all of 1 snap. He's the only Falcons rookie to take a single snap on offense or defense. I mean, it's early, so I'm not going to panic too much. But yeah, I am a little concerned, as you should be as well. Eddie Goldman, Taquan Graham, those are some old cats right there. Not that they don't deserve to be on the field, but the fact that they aren't even lighting the world on fire and these rookies can't even put on a jersey on Sundays because they're all healthy scratches. Yeah, that's a decent concern for me right there. So to kind of put a bow on the Ojulari section here, should they make a trade? They're trending towards that direction. I don't think they need to do it now. I don't think the Giants are interested in doing it now. I don't think you're going to see many trades go down this far from the trade deadline. But as we get closer and closer to that November 5th deadline, if the pass rushing woes do not go away and they do not find a solution to that problem, they should probably be looking external to a guy like Ojulari. Now, I want to just kind of end today's video with some news items and some injury news as well. For starters, these helmets fuck. I love the throwback unis that are going to be coming out on Sunday to play. So get ready for that. Get ready for some awesome, sweet drip because look good, feel good, play good. Coach Travis, my freshman football coach, told me that. I did not play well, but I did look good, but it definitely helped. So if you like the throwback uniforms, the throwback helmets and whatnot, throwback logo, hit that thumbs up button. Let's have this be one of our most liked videos of the week. Some injury news here. I'm filming this right now during our live show on Thursday, so injury news are always a bit of a fluid subject. Caleb McGarry did not practice. Jake Matthews did not practice, but it's for a very good reason. He was with his wife as they are expecting the birth of their second child, so congratulations to the Matthews family for growing. Bijan Robinson was limited in practice with a shoulder injury. So as we look at the Saints injury report next, Bijan limited with a shoulder injury. It's early. I'm not sure if that's something he picked up from all the blitzes he's been blocking. Maybe it's something that happened in practice, but definitely something to monitor when you're starting running back. Somewhat unexpectedly pops up on the injury report after not being on there to open up the week on Wednesday. Before we look at that Saints injury report, which is much longer than Atlanta's, speaking of Atlanta, if you want to get this awesome hoodie 25% off, don't wait right now because when you go to chatsports.com/ATL hoodie, you can get this sweet, awesome hoodie on 25% off on sale. But if you do wait, there's a good chance that by the time it starts to get cold outside and you reconsider that you want some new Falcons gear and some warm weather gear in your closet, that sale is going to be gone and you're going to be paying much more than you have to if you get it today. So I put this link in the comments and description of today's video. Go check it out, chatsports.com/ATL hoodie. Who's ready for a long injury report? So these are just guys that are on the injury report. I think it's also a good time to remind you guys how injury reports work. With the NFL getting in bed so much with gambling, it is paramount that teams are honest and truthful about the injury report because there are a lot of people betting on these games. And if the Saints don't report that Derek Carr is dealing with a left groin injury and then he is banged up on Sunday before the game starts, well, there are going to be a lot of people that are very upset that they did not make a fair bet without knowing the entire piece of information. But some names to note for sure. Alante Taylor on Wednesday did not practice with an illness. Demario Davis did not practice on Wednesday with a hamstring injury. And you've got Alvin Kamara, who was limited on Thursday after not practicing Wednesday with a hip and ribs injury. So both starting running backs limited at the moment. I'm not going to speculate on which one is worse than the other. I would think if you're dealing with a hip and a rib injury, it probably hurts a little bit more. And every single time you take a big hit, just kind of think about it. Your ribs are what's protecting your lungs. And if you ever had rib injury or every time you breathe, it hurts, imagine every time you get hit, how much that would hurt as well. So that's definitely something to watch for. But yeah, the Saints definitely come into this game a lot more banged up than Atlanta. Before we get on out of here, I do want to show some love to the Dirty Birds Club for their Very generous support of the channel. If you want to get added to the club, $100 super chat if you're able to during our watch parties, and we'll toss your name on screen for shout outs all year long, like Jose Santana, Ken Ballard, Trey1222, Jason Lindino, Reese Atkins, Archangel, Angry Liquid, and Jeebus H. Christ, along with Dictator JC. I appreciate everyone for taking time out of their day to come watch our content. If you enjoyed it, I don't want to be too needy right now. Of course, subscribe, like, but if you're still watching, I got to envision that you somewhat like me. Otherwise, you probably would have left a long time ago, or at least like the content. So do me a favor, scroll on down. Just comment any emoji. That way I can kind of deduce who the end of the video crew is. Should the Falcons add an edge rusher? Savage Falcon, did you change your profile picture? You guys think I don't notice these things. I think that's a new profile picture for Savage Falcon. Jose, appreciate you. Should the Falcons add an edge rusher? Marvin says yes. We have a super chat to catch up on, so we'll get that on screen in just a moment. Vincent, where's Rook? Practicing. I don't know if I've ever seen a second-round draft pick be a healthy scratch the first 3 weeks of the season. That's a tough thing. I have some fun trivia here. You ready for this? Yeah. Throw Bentley's on. It's nice to see some primetime games for Atlanta this year rise up. Bentley, spot on. I mean, okay, my definition of primetime, by the way, is different than the textbook one. I believe in sports, basically just the NFL. Primetime is if you are a standalone game. All 3 Thanksgiving games are primetime games, in my opinion. Right, the NFL wanted just those 2 teams on the field and no one else to compete with them. I think if you play in London, it's prime time. Because to me, prime time is you're the only game on. Everyone can only watch you. And last year, the Falcons played in London, and that was their only standalone game. The year before that, they played on Thursday night against Carolina. And that was their only standalone game. So it's nice to kind of get back in the national spotlight. Bobby, how's Dallas Turner been doing? Bobby, it's funny you asked that. I actually was thinking about that just yesterday, and I looked up his stats. He's been good. I wasn't going to bring him up on the show, at least for a little while, because I don't think it's fair for Turner or just any sake of the argument to make a complete evaluation on the Falcons' draft decision after just 3 weeks. Even if Michael Penix was playing these first 3 weeks and he wasn't playing well, I don't think we could jump to that conclusion just yet. But Dallas Turner, he's at least on the field, which is more than any other Falcons rookie, and he's been good, I would say, so far. I don't think he's been turning heads or anything like that, but he hasn't been a disaster either.
I don't know if we did this in the beginning of the show, but I'm looking at the beginning. Jose Santana saying, PD or Reed, don't forget to shout us out today. Baby Dirty Birds Club. Or shout us out today, Dirty Birds Club. Also, I have Kyle Pitts as my tight end in fantasy and George Kittle. What are your recommendations on who to start? I didn't want to miss that because I saw that in the beginning. And Jose Santana is a big supporter of this channel, so I don't want to.
I'm going to go truthfully, no bias, and say Kyle Pitts. Kittle's banged up, and Kittle has kind of dealt with injuries throughout his career, and there are multiple instances where I think he comes back from an injury and is somewhat of a decoy. Pitts is healthy, and we saw what Dallas Goedert did to the Saints last week for the Eagles. So I like Pitts a lot in this game, not just because of what Goddard was able to do to New Orleans last week, but also even if Kittle does play, which he didn't play last week, right? Pretty sure he didn't play last week. He did not, yeah. He might not even be even close to 100% this week, and he might be a little bit of a decoy. The trivia question. You guys ready for this? We're talking about rookies not, impacting much early on. So, of the 3 rookie quarterbacks, because there were 6 taken in round 1, 3 started in week 1 and have been starting ever since. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix. No Drake May, no Michael Penix, no J.J. McCarthy. So of the 3 left standing, 2 have thrown a touchdown pass. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix, through 3 weeks, has not. He's rushed for 2. He has not thrown a touchdown pass yet. I'd be impressed if anyone could guess the quarterback, but can you at least guess how far back you have to go to find a rookie quarterback who was drafted in round 1 to not throw a touchdown pass in the first 3 weeks of the season? First 3 weeks of the season, rookie quarterback, round 1 pick, no touchdown passes. Can you guess how far back you have to go? That's not a bad guess from Reed. He said John Elway. John Elway did not start the first 3 weeks. He started week 1, he got benched, and he would come back later on. Yeah, started every game. Just went out there, went off, no touchdowns. Can anyone guess how far you've got to go back? I'm going to give you guys 5 more seconds. You have to go back all the way to, Marvin says 1973. That's very close, Marvin. 1970, when Terry Bradshaw did not throw a touchdown pass. I believe the first 5 weeks of the season. You ready? I'm going to look up the stats right now. So it worked out pretty well for Terry, I'd say. Terry Bradshaw's first touchdown pass did not come until week 5. Nothing the first 4 games. I don't really remember how we got down this well, but we talked about the rookies not performing much for Atlanta. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into our next segment, which is all about beating the Saints and a guide to do so looking inward. For weeks 1, 2, and 3, we talked about, hey, what do the Eagles do poorly? What do the Chiefs do poorly? What do the Steelers do poorly? This week, I want to focus on what does Atlanta do poorly that they have to correct before this matchup. So, okay, Reed's tossing something. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. I think
just in case anyone wants it.
Okay, so let's jump into our next segment here. We're at 79 likes. Can we get ourselves to 80 likes? One person watching that is not liked. I had a person comment on the video yesterday, and they said, I've been watching you for a long time, and this whole time I thought I was subscribed. I just subscribed right now. Oh, no. Which I can understand that if you are following someone on Instagram or TikTok, because the algorithm will notice you like that a lot, and you may not even notice you're not hitting follow. But YouTube, it's pretty obvious when you that button subscribe is pretty big, and it changes colors when you click it. Okay. All right, I'm ready when you guys are. We're at 86 likes, so I appreciate you all for supporting us here. Let's talk about some soul searching for Atlanta. The goal of today's episode is for the Falcons to look within a little bit about what they can do to improve themselves and correct the mistakes that they have unfortunately made through the first 3 weeks to help take down the Saints. Because the first couple of weeks, we focused so much on, hey, what do the Eagles not do well? What do the Chiefs not do well? What does Atlanta not do well that they must correct before Sunday? Correction number 1, third down offense. It is one of the worst in the NFL. If they are one thing, it is consistent. They are 2 for 9 on third down all 3 weeks. It's kind of like an incredible anomaly of 9 attempts and 2 successful conversions every single time. But yeah, when you look at the Falcons offense against the Saints defense, they are converting at a rate of 22%, which is 29th in the NFL. And the Saints have pretty middle-of-the-road third down defense, letting teams convert on them 35% of the time. So advantage definitely swings in New Orleans' favor. Now, it's a lot easier said than done to just improve your third down offense, right? As if like there's like you got to go to a thrift store and find third down playbook. But step number one to avoiding failure on third down is avoid third and long. If you want to convert on third down, don't shoot yourself in the foot on first and second down and put yourself so far away from the sticks. It's just too difficult and too unattainable to actually pick up 9, 10, 11 yards. So step one for success on third down is be successful on first and second down. Step two, avoid predictable play calling. As the season goes along, what do you think all these, what do you think all these coaches are doing throughout the week? They are watching film on the opponent, and they are watching film for situations like this. Hey, what does Atlanta like to do on 3rd and 5+? What does Atlanta like to do on 3rd and 5 within? Well, every single time they're at 3rd and 3 and they line up in this formation, they always run it. Remember week 1 when the offense was at its worst? They were so predictable. Every single time they were in pistol, they threw the football. Every single time they were in shotgun, they ran the football. Over the course of the game, these guys on the field are pretty smart. They're going to pick up on this stuff. So you just can't be predictable like that. Step number 3, execute. I think far too often we get carried away with placing all of the blame on play calling and the coaching staff. There are just moments where blocks have to be made, runs have to get made, players have to get run over, and balls have to be caught. Offense just needs to execute a little bit better on third down as well. Now, before we look at the next 2 steps for improving this team before the Saints, if you hate the Saints, and you better hate the Saints, hit that sub button down below. Help us defeat Saints Now in subscribers. We're going to have one hell of a time on Sunday. Our watch party, battling them all 4 quarters. The Saints host Trace Gerard is the biggest Falcons hater on either side of the Mississippi. So go ahead, hit that sub button down below if you want to, pardon my French, cover your kids' ears, skull fuck the New Orleans Saints this Sunday. Correction number 2, finding a pass rush. It's missing. Get an Amber Alert out. No one knows where it is. I mean, I was somewhat optimistic that Matthew Judon would be the saving grace, and it's only 3 weeks, so I'm not going to overreact too much, but we've been down this road before, so it's hard to fault any of us for jumping to conclusions. But what do you know? The Falcons are in their own corner, and it's not a good corner. They want to be in this corner. They want to be the Browns, the Steelers, the Lions, the Bills, the Eagles. They don't have any friends. That's how far away they are. They can't even see the Cardinals. The Cardinals is a dot to them. This pass rush historically has plagued this franchise. They need to find it if they are going to be a legitimate threat in the NFC this year. If you want to take down the San Francisco 49ers, the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the teams that consistently have been standing at the top of the NFC the last 2 to 3 seasons, it's very simple. You got to find a way to pressure the quarterback. The day and age we live in, the game is run through the quarterback. And if you don't have a great quarterback, you better find a way to stop theirs. And the good news for the Falcons is they've got a good quarterback in Kirk Cousins. But that's just not always going to be enough. The Falcons, when it comes to finding a way to solve their pass rushing woes, can do a couple of things. They can continue on the course they are on, which is we're going to trust our guys up front to win their one-on-one matchups and get to the quarterback. That's not an awful plan for most teams. It's not working for Atlanta. If that was working, they'd have more than 3 sacks from 2 players. So what else can you do? Well, you can start to get a little bit risky, and you can start blitzing. There's pros and cons to blitzing. If you're sending guys to run after the quarterback, you don't have enough guys back in coverage to play defense on the receivers. And the Falcons, I mean, they are blitzing towards the bottom of the NFL, tied for 20th, 22 blitzes through 3 weeks so far. Right now, the one-on-one game isn't working for them, right? So they've got to find a way to start getting creative. I mean, it's not that they haven't been creative at all. They've had some stunts, they've had some doubles, but just playing straight up isn't working for this team. So if we want to talk about man blitzes, we want to talk about some zone blitzes, we got to start talking about blitzes. So Jimmy, start sending the troops to the defense. Before we look at our final piece of wonderful soul searching Atlanta needs to do, predict the score. Falcons versus Saints in the comment section below. Don't be afraid to get your score prediction down there. While you're giving me your score prediction, give me 30 seconds to tell everyone watching about our sponsor today, our sportsbook partner, BetUS. If you are feeling very confident about Atlanta winning on Sunday and you want to put your money where your mouth is, go to chatsports.com/betfalcons. And when you use promo code Falcons125, they're going to give you a 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean in English? Let's say you put $100 in. They're going to match your 100, and then because they love you and they love the Falcons, they're going to add an additional $25 on top. So now you have $225 when you originally started with $100. So what are the odds for this Falcons-Saints matchup? Atlanta is favored by 2.5 points. The over-under for this Week 4 matchup is 42.5. So go to chatsports.com/betfalcons and use promo code Falcons125. Have to use both of those steps to get that 125% deposit bonus. Correction number 3, involving Kyle Pitts. This one's not because he's on my fantasy team. He's not on my fantasy team. But I think we can all agree that Kyle Pitts, I do think, is a good football player. Like, when we see him, like, he had that great catch against the Chiefs that got them right down towards the goal line. Like, he's a good football player. Why the ball doesn't find him, I don't know. He's got 12 targets. Ray McLeod has more targets. And that's not a slight against Ray, but Kyle Pitts, I think, deserves to be a bigger piece of the offense than your wide receiver 3. So let's start incorporating Kyle Pitts a little bit more, especially when you look at what the Eagles did against the Saints last Sunday. Dallas Goedert, 11 targets in one game, 10 grabs, 170 yards. Now, no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith for most of the game, but still, you've got a unicorn in Pitts. Get him the football. Start force-feeding it a little bit. If it's not working, well, at least we can all say we tried. We went down swinging. But giving him 4 targets a game, which he catches maybe 2, maybe 1 good pass breakup, 1 pass not on the money, how's he ever going to prove his worth if he can't even get the football thrown his way? So, red zone, middle of the field, I don't care. Let's get Kyle Pitts involved more offensively. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing and liking the video. I want to earn your subscription, but I do appreciate all of you that go ahead and join one of the fastest growing and largest Falcons YouTube communities out there here at Falcons Today. Grand Limousine! For, I think, the first time ever, a super chat with a message in it. Yeah, I can't think of a message in any other Grand Limousine super chat. Shout out to the GOAT, Petey. Grand Limousine, you are the GOAT of limousine services. I look forward to the day when I am in need of, what's like a synonym for big or terrific? Grand Limousine. Appreciate it, Grand Limousine. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And make sure, if you're watching and you want to get hooked up with a sweet ride to Mercedes-Benz on Sunday, go visit Grand Limousine. There's no better baller move than getting dropped off by a limousine. It's a top 5 feeling in the world. Sitting in the back, when the limousine driver opens a little shade to your little request, it's the best. It's the best.
Well, when you're in when I was in high school, I went to prom.
Yeah.
Limousine. And homecoming too. So it was like it makes it feel great.
Oh, for sure. I got score predictions from Johnson saying 27-21, Vincent Falcons 30, Saints 14, James saying 24-17 Saints. I don't like that very much, James. Samuel 31-9 Falcons. Jeffrey Falcons 24-17. Michael, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Michael. Everyone spam HBD in the chat for Michael right now. Savage, they need to stop putting Lorenzo Carter out there and let Arnold get a lot more playing time. I don't oppose the idea of switching it up a little bit because clearly it's not working as is. It just sometimes makes you wonder how much better is Carter in practice for him to warrant the snaps and the starting role over Ebiketie. But there are plenty of times where coaching staffs make a change personnel-wise, and the backup was the better play the whole time, and it was right under their nose. So it's definitely not impossible. All right, we do have a mailbag coming up next here, so if you have any questions, hashtag Falcons in the chat right now, or super chat, and we'll throw your question on screen for everyone watching to see. So use hashtag Falcons to get in our next mailbag. If you just want to give like an opinion, that also works as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be a yes or no question. If you have an idea you want to toss out there, that plays as well. So hashtag Falcons in the chat. Just have to include the hashtag Falcons somewhere in your message. That way Reed can pull the question from the chat and put it on screen. Oh, that one, Falcons fans. Saints blow 31-3 lead. Falcons win 30. I think they're going to blow a 28-point lead. What did the Colts blow to the Kirk Cousins-led Viking squad 2 years ago? Wasn't that a 28-point lead? Someone do the research for me. It was like right around Christmas. Was it Christmas Eve? Colts, Vikings, Minnesota. I think they blew I think it was bigger than 25 points. 33 point. No. Was it really 33-0? It just sounds so crazy to hear. The rookies aren't healthy scratches. It's just Raheem says he likes the D-line. Shelvis, that is a rookie. That is a healthy scratch. I mean, it's fine to say the reason that he is healthy scratching them is because he likes the veteran players, but that still makes them healthy scratches. They are healthy, and they are inactive. That's a healthy scratch. Jose, you know what's crazy about that, PD? It was against Matt Ryan's Colts. Right, but Matt Ryan wasn't playing that game. He got benched. But did he come back after getting? Why do I feel like Jeff Saturday reinstated Matt Ryan? I think you're right. Did Matt Ryan come back after? Like, I remember him getting benched after the Colts-Broncos Thursday night just bloodbath of awful football. But I feel like when Saturday was installed as the interim head coach, the first thing he did was he put Matt Ryan back under center. Mando, you're on TV. Someone let me know. Was Matt Ryan the quarterback for that game? I'm trying to remember who actually even replaced Matt Ryan for Indy. Was it Sam Ehlinger? Bobby says it was definitely Ryan playing. Who replaced Ryan, though, for like that middle third of the season? Because, yes, it's coming back to me that Ryan came back after getting benched. It was Nick Foles? Oh, I forgot all about that. That's a tough era of Colts football. Chris, I like the question, but you do have to use hashtag Falcons. It's more of a request or more of a demand than a request. It was Ryan. Okay. So we solved that mystery. Bobby, I think Kyle will have almost 200 yards against the Saints. I sure hope so. That sounds like a great Sunday to me. Where is Desmond Ridder right now? I think he is just chilling in Arizona on the practice squad, right? Yeah. Isn't Ridder? I don't think anyone ever claimed Ridder off of the Cardinals practice squad.
He almost got cut, but...
Well, he was cut from the roster, and then he got placed on the practice squad.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did get cut.
Yeah, Ridder got cut. I wonder what the season would have been like if Rondale Moore was here right now. Probably actually no different at all. I don't think he's going to dramatically sway the outcome of the game, but
I
I
think
kind of forgot about him. I bet they bring him back still.
I
Like, go
think
ahead.
he would take away more receptions from Pitts.
Dude, I think Ray McLeod might be better than Rondale Moore, which I definitely did not think I'd be saying a few months ago. So maybe it's not a bad thing that we get more Ray McLeod. Okay. So we're going to have our mailbag in just a moment. Reed is getting all the questions ready. We're just having some technical difficulties with our software, so it just kind of slows things down a little bit. So appreciate all of you guys
It's a
bearing with us here.
It's a work in progress that will be better in the future.
You think
So
it's,
like
you
it's
think,
a new thing.
you
that
think it's
we
going to
just-
be better than the previous way?
What?
Do you think it's going to be better than the way it was before?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, well, we couldn't get them before.
Well, I mean, before it broke, though.
No,
Okay.
but better than what we started with.
Okay.
Right
okay.
now.
Okay.
Like in the season.
Yeah.
It means I'll be able to talk more
Mhm.
and be involved a little bit more rather than being behind the scenes.
All right. So, mailbag coming up. If you think of a question at the last moment and you want to guarantee it gets on screen, super chat and we'll throw it on for everyone watching to see. Do you still have the capability of like getting to all the old super chats? Okay. So we'll kind of cycle through the super chats at the end of the mailbag if there are no questions in them. All right. Let's do this thing. I'm ready if you guys are. Okay, never mind. I thought Reed was ready. Okay. Oh, the doggiest is here. Good to see you. The doggist. I don't know how I'm supposed. The dogsist. When do you think Kyle Pitts will have his breakout game? Sunday. Seems like a good opportunity for him to break out on a home game against a Saints defense that just got shredded by Dallas Goedert. Now, the downside is, you know what the Saints are going to be working on in practice all week? Covering the tight end. So that's obviously going to be a focal point of theirs. Okay. All right, Reed is unveiling what we will be working with for our mailbag. Yeah. Oh, toss that in there. Okay. Do you think Braylon Trice would have outperformed Lorenzo Carter if he wasn't injured? To be honest, I don't think the production would be much different. I was not super high on Braylon Trice rookie year domination. I know that that's probably not what you want to hear. We all want to hear wishful thinking, but historically speaking, third round edges just do not impact as much as you think. So I did not think Braylon Trice would be bringing the boom. That'd be more of a doom, which, by the way, if you know what I'm talking about, I'm over them. They're all over my feed now. They stare into my soul. The smile, I mean, they look possessed. I'm out. I'm out on boom. It's doom for me now. It was fun for a while. I was very late to the party, but I do want to try a chicken bake, though. I've never got one before. It's crazy how Costco, by the way, just quietly makes probably so much money from people going there just to get some food or just to, like, explore Costco. We bring the boom. The memes that come out of it, though, are hysterical. Okay. All right, here we go. I like it. Yeah, a little bit of contrast. I love it. Are we ready to rumble? Let's do it. Let's get into a live mailbag. Okay. We have 96 likes, by the way. If 4 of you watching have not liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. Get us to 100. 4 away. Here we go. Counting down in 3, 2, 1. Mailbag time. What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into a Falcons mailbag. We recorded today's episode during our live show, which airs every single Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to be on the next mailbag, tune in then and ask your question in the chat. First one coming in from Cheesecake. Any chance of a Hassan Reddick trade with his holdout? How awesome would it be if somehow Atlanta walked away with Judon and Reddick after talking about them all August long and then getting one of the two? But I don't want to say it's a 0% chance because the Falcons' pass rush has been bad just from a number standpoint through the first 3 weeks of the season. They are 31st in sacks, 31st in pressure. So if the Jets, which by the way have such a headache on their hands of giving up an asset, a draft pick, for an investment that is just opting not to play. I mean, just think about that from a business standpoint. What a horrible transaction that is. I think at this point they should just cut their losses and get something for Reddick, which they are getting something right now, which is a lot of money because he gets fined every single practice and game he does not go to, and he's building up a huge amount of fines. So I think there's a little bit of mistakes on his end as well, but still, he is determined. So I would not be opposed for Atlanta to go, hey, New York, remember when we called last month and we offered you a 4th and you said, no, get out of here, he's going to play. Well, it's almost Halloween, he's still not playing. Our offer has gone down. It's now a 5th. And now you can get, you have to extend Reddick or give him something. More guaranteed money, I don't know. But at this point, with how bad the pass rush has been, 3 sacks from just 2 players in 3 weeks, I'm game to give it a shot. So should Atlanta trade for Hassan Reddick? Give me a yes or give me a no in the comment section below what you think about the Jets pass rusher holding out. Next question coming in from Nicholas Clover. Hey, Matthew, do you think the Carolina Panthers beat the Bengals or the Beagles on Sunday? I think the Bengals are going to whomp the Panthers. This is the classic interim head coach boost, backup quarterback boost, where everyone else feels like, hey, we got to kind of pick up our act a little bit, help out the backup, help out the interim, and no one's counting on us, and we just have this new amount of energy put into the locker room, and you see that boost. It happened with Raheem Morris when Dan Quinn was fired. Then it all comes crashing down to earth. It's going to come crashing down to earth to a very desperate winless Bengals team. So, Nicholas, I got the Bengals by 90. Next one coming in from Rayanne. Do you think Bijan's going to be out this week? He was limited on Thursday with a shoulder injury. So, it's a little bit concerning because he wasn't on the injury report Wednesday, which suggests it may have happened in practice. And, of course, there's nothing worse than an injury in practice because it feels like it was so pointless. We're filming this on Thursday, so all I can do is predict what's going to happen in the future when you guys are potentially watching this. But I'm going to say Robinson plays on Sunday against the Aints. Lav S. Is our pass rush that weak, or is it just because they've been trying to contain mobile QBs so far? That's a good question, Lav. Let's go through the quarterbacks. Justin Fields, definitely mobile. Jalen Hurts, definitely mobile. Patrick Mahomes is very good at scrambling. They don't design runs for Mahomes. So I don't think the containment falls on the plate of Judon and Lorenzo Carter. Like, if you want a quarterback spy for those guys, okay, let's have Caden Ellis. Let's have Troy Anderson do that. If you want to contain the quarterback on certain plays and situations based on the down and distance, fine. If you want to contain him on 1st and 10, so be it. But on 3rd and 10, they're not looking to run. They're looking to pass. So the pass rushers on an obvious passing situation should have their ears pinned back. And this is what we have so far. Like, just not good enough. I don't think that we can chalk it up to they've been trying to contain mobile QBs. Justin Fields took a boatload of sacks in Chicago. Him and Russell Wilson took more sacks than anyone else. They weren't afraid about him running then when they were sacking him. So I don't buy that as the reason, Lav. I like the idea, though. I can understand how you landed there, but no, I'm going to reject this idea. Deadwater. Captain Kirk's going to toss over 275 yards this week. He's gotten better as the weeks have gone on. Week 1, I kind of want a sit down, you know what I mean? Like a 60 minutes documentary on what was the Falcons' game plan. I've never seen a team so drastically change their game plan from one week to the next. No snaps under center week 1, and then week 2, they finally incorporate play action under center, pistol, shotgun. So I don't know if Kirk's Achilles was just 1 week away from being healthy enough to get him under center, but he's gotten better every single week. Give me the over on 275 yards, Deadwater. Appreciate your question. We have some more questions to get to in just a moment here, but I do want to quickly plug this awesome Falcons hoodie that is 25% off at chatsports.com/ATL hoodie. So if you want to up your Falcons wardrobe with the fall and winter around the corner and save some money in the process, use our exclusive link to get, I think it's a pretty sick Falcons hoodie, 25% off, thanks to our friends over at Fanatics. We got a super chat question from Bentley. We need to take advantage of the Saints' injuries. Saints come into this matchup pretty banged up. No Eric McCoy, they're starting. No Eric McCoy, they're starting center. Cesar Ruiz is banged up as well. Alvin Kamara is banged up. Alante Taylor, Demario Davis. This is the Wednesday to Thursday injury report. Like, they have a long list of injuries. So, yeah, I don't think anyone should be kicking back and going, they're missing some key guys or they're not quite 100%. This should be a runaway game for the Falcons. They're all pros. The backups are not as bad as we often think they are compared to the starters. So there should be advantages taken if there's no Demario Davis. All right, let's attack the middle of the defense because that's his jurisdiction. You know what I mean? If there's no Alante Taylor, which seems unlikely with an illness. He'll probably be healthy by Sunday, but let's attack that side of the field. So I would love to see that definitely unfold, but I don't think we should look at that as a foregone conclusion for Atlanta's success. Deadwater, in retrospect, are you feeling like the referees helped Kansas City steal one last week in Atlanta? Did they miss the call on Kyle Pitts in the end zone? Without a doubt. Did they make up for that? I would say so. I mean, very quickly, the Chiefs DBs were dinged with 2 soft-ish penalties to kind of make up for the Falcons' lack of a call in the end zone. I would rather have had first and goal at the 1, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs definitely seem to get the benefit of the doubt, and as frustrating as that is, I do think that's somewhat of a product of being a really good team. Like, when you're great, you get the calls. That's not new. It's not unique to the Chiefs. It happens across all sports. It's happened for decades. So I think the Chiefs definitely got the benefit of the doubt on some calls on Sunday, but that's playing Patrick Mahomes. Joshua Terry, what are your thoughts on the idea of being thrown around for a Penix QB sneak? I don't like it. Kirk Cousins is not going to do a QB sneak. There's a growing trend of a lot of quarterbacks that don't do QB sneaks. Mahomes does not do QB sneaks. I know Deshaun Watson does not do QB sneaks. I know Kirk Cousins doesn't really do QB sneaks. I'm not really interested in, hey, Penix, we know that you have 2 bad shoulders and 2 torn ACLs from your days in college, but how do you feel about running into a 300-pound wall in front of you, which is about actually, 2,000 pounds collected? And that's your only contribution to this team. So I don't think it's the greatest idea to use Penix in that way. It screams, oh my God, can't you kind of picture the headline? The Atlanta Falcons are the dumbest team in the NFL. They use their rookie quarterback who was injury prone in college for a quarterback sneak, and he hurt his shoulder. All for 1 yard. I think we can come up with another way to get a yard. Josh, appreciate your question, though. Dat one Falcons fan. What are the odds that Justin Simmons and A.J. Terrell get a pick 6 off Derek Carr? We saying both of them get a pick 6 or just one of them? One of them, okay. Derek Carr definitely gives pick 6 vibes. If I'm going through quarterbacks right now in the NFL, that if I close my eyes and I can picture them throwing a pick 6, Derek Carr's on that list. Daniel Jones is high up on that list. Daniel Jones is the president of that club. Will Levis gives major pick six vibes. Kirk Cousins gives pick vibes. Maybe a little bit of pick six vibes. Who'd you have? Kyler? No, because Kyler can get those little legs. He'll run them down. That's the growing list I have right now. If we still had Tannehill, he'd be on that board as well. So let me get a Justin Simmons pick six. Which, by the way, it would be incredible just because Saints fans felt like Justin Simmons was a foregone conclusion to New Orleans. How sweet would it be to watch Simmons pick off a guy that fan base thought would be on their side for this game? Last question rolling in from Archangel. I know the history says it won't work, but who knows? We may have a stud or two in our rookie class that we have yet to really play. Get them out on the field. Raheem Morris has chalked up no rookies playing due to a lot of veterans at those groups that are playing well. And yeah, I don't think the veteran defensive linemen have been playing poorly, but to not even have them suit up on Sundays, it just really makes me concerned about what's going on at practice if your second-round draft pick is a healthy scratch. It's just inactive. Like, that's a concern. Now, it's only been a few weeks, so I'm not going to freak out too much, but yeah, I'm definitely going to explore what's going on here. All right, before we let you guys get on out of here, who you got for week 4? Falcons or the Aints? I only want to see ATLs in the comment section, so spam ATL down below if you got the Dirty Birds getting back to 500. We got ATLs coming in. I love it. I love it. All right. We have kept you guys long enough. If we get some more super chats, we'll stay live. Otherwise, we will sign off and let you all go. Let's end with who you got for Thursday Night Football, though. Yeah, Reed here, too. Thursday Night Football, Reed. Giants or Cowboys? And should I go to B-dubs? Because my fiance has like this work thing going on, so she's a bunch of coworkers in town, so it's freed up my schedule a little bit more. And I love B-dubs. I have a love-hate relationship with B-dubs. My local B-dubs is not good at all, but it's still a core classic of mine from my middle school days. So I'm kind of thinking B-dubs. We have a Saints fan in the chat that just does not have their own YouTube channel to go to.
Yeah.
I'm feeling Dallas, though.
I'm going Giants.
I kind of wish I was going Giants.
Only because I want to see the demise of the Cowboys.
Jason, I can't watch games outside of my house. Otherwise, I get kicked out.
Oh.
You get kicked out of the bar? Is that the kind of fan you are, Jason? The loud guy?
Oh.
Is that what you're saying?
Passionate. Just passionate.
Passionate. That's a good thesaurus word right there. Good spin zone. Oh, Trace is better. We found Trace's burner.
Oh my goodness.
Grand Limousine.
Trace, go do some work.
Dak. Yeah, I like the Cowboys in this one here. DeMarcus is going with the Giants. The issue is the Giants suck too. I know they just won, so maybe they kind of run off that momentum. But to me, I'm not sold. Although Malik Neighbors could take this game over.
There's
I guess.
this guy in Malik Neighbors.
Okay. We are going to let you guys get on with the rest of your Thursday. If you are in Georgia or anywhere that is in the path of the hurricane, stay dry, stay safe. Hopefully none of your property gets damaged or anything like that. And we'll see everyone throughout the weekend and most importantly on Sunday for Falcons Saints.